John Steed has arranged to rendezvous with a contact to discuss a secret medical formula. They meet, but before they can finish their conversation, Steed's contact is stabbed by a mysterious man in a bowler hat. A colleague acting as a lookout is also killed. As Steed cradles the dying man in his arms, he is powerless to prevent the killer's escape.
One for the Mortuary. Written by Brian Clemens, produced by Leonard White, and directed by Peter Hammond.
Steed has been wounded in the attack and has retired to his club, where he receives a healing massage to aid his recovery. At Steed's request, David Keel has come from his Chelsea surgery to meet him there. The doctor casts his professional eye over Steed's injuries and asks how he came by them. Steed explains to Keel that his latest mission is to attend a World Health Organization symposium in Geneva. However, as a result of the attack, he is no longer feeling up to making the journey. He plays on his friend's generosity and good nature and asks if Keel would be prepared to go along in his place. Meanwhile, the mysterious killer in the bowler hat, a man called Benson, telephones his contact Pelaine and explains that he is still on the hunt for the formula. As the two men converse, Pelaine is deliberating over a game of chess he is playing. He carefully considers his next move and elects to risk a pawn. Pelaine tells Benson to cover his tracks carefully and ensure that no one can trace the killings back to him. At the surgery, Carol welcomes Scott, a caller for Steed. Steed sees him and is given an envelope. It contains his invitation card to the Geneva Health Conference. Scott insists that Steed should look after it well. The invitation contains the secret formula in microdot form. Scott leaves and Carol returns to her sewing, unaware of Benson, who hovers nervously outside. He has trailed Scott to the surgery and tackles him as he departs, silently throttling him with his walking cane. Some considerable time later, Keel is aboard an aeroplane flying to Geneva. The flight has been made considerably more convivial by the company of a young lady by the name of Yvette de Clare, who has the seat next to him. They hit it off and chat happily. Back at the surgery, while her employer is en route to the conference, Carol discovers the body of Scott, which has been hidden in an alcove. Benson reports to Pelaine that he has disposed of another agent and is close to the formula. Steed examines Scott's body and calls his superiors to report the situation. He realizes he must follow Keel to Geneva, as he has kept his friend in the dark regarding the real content of the invitation that he is carrying. He has unwittingly put Keel in great danger. The plane has arrived in Geneva, and Keel and Yvette prepare to disembark. However, Yvette is suddenly taken ill, feeling sick. Keel helps her off the plane and arranges for her to stay in his hotel so that he can tend to her. Pelaine has a contact at the hotel, the concierge, who he telephones with instructions. In the hotel room, Keel treats Yvette, who feels better for his attentions. He gives her the invitation for the seminar so that they can meet up later, and then goes to his own room. Once there, a noise outside the window attracts Keel's attention, and as he investigates, he is knocked unconscious by a figure holding a gun. As Keel lays prone on the floor, his assailant places the gun in the doctor's hand and departs. When Keel recovers, he finds two policemen in his room. The senior officer, Dubois, explains that he has been called to the hotel to investigate a shooting, and that it appears the gun that Keel has been found with is the murder weapon. As this is their only lead, they must treat Keel as their main suspect. Luckily for Keel, Steed has decided to come over to Geneva to ensure the formula reaches his contact, Pelaine. Steed persuades the police to release Keel into his custody and asks about the whereabouts of the invitation. Keel explains he gave it to Yvette, meaning to meet up with her later at the conference. Keel is still unaware of the importance of the card. They go to Yvette's room, but are informed by the maid that she has already left. Keel recalls that Yvette had intended to visit her uncle called Borg, and looks up his name in the local telephone directory. He finds an address on the Rue Vienne and sets off. When he arrives, Keel finds the place to be a taxidermist, and the strange little proprietor is indeed one Bernard Borg. However, Borg has never heard of Yvette, and, after some thinking, wonders whether Keel has misunderstood what Yvette has told him. There is a town nearby called Borg, and it may be that she has gone there to see her uncle. Making some telephone inquiries, Keel manages to trace Yvette and calls her to arrange a meeting. Steed is with Polaine in his office as they wait for news of the formula. Keel telephones them and tells them of his success in finding Yvette. He is to meet her later on at Borg's shop. Keel arrives at the taxidermist's shop to find Yvette and also Polaine, who finally reveals his true colours. He is responsible for all the deaths and has Yvette restrained by Benson, his head thug. Keel waits for an opportunity to act as Polaine discloses to him the importance of the invitation and the microdot formula it contains. Polaine was always in line to receive the formula on the understanding that it be given freely to the medical profession for the greater good. He has decided instead to use it to make him rich, and intends to sell to the highest bidder. As Polaine decides what to do with Keel and Yvette, the police, including Dubois, arrive. They have been tipped off by Steed, who has become suspicious of Polaine. Steed has accompanied the police on their raid and helps them capture Polaine and his henchmen. Steed admits that he'll have to find a more reliable contact for the formula, and, as the police take the thugs away, Yvette and Steed find the taxidermist Bernard Borg. Polaine had tied him up earlier, and he is very relieved to be discovered. As they release him from his bonds, Borg reveals he is amazed that so much excitement could have happened in his quiet little shop.